In every moment of communication, we not only meet like-minded souls, but also face the subtle challenges of life. Each relationship, with its joyful smiles mixed with tears, is a journey of self-discovery and exploring the world around us. Let us embark on this journey together, where we will touch upon the roots of conflict, delve into the profound Buddhist perspective on the freedom of the soul, and discover the secrets of mindfulness, compassion, and the art of self-care to nurture meaningful and fulfilling relationships. When we mention tension in relationships, we often think of confusing moments, thoughtless words, and unnecessary misunderstandings. But did you know that these cracks often stem from deep-rooted causes we may have never fully realized? Imagine a rainy afternoon when a couple like Emma and Liam are walking together under a narrow awning. Amid the sound of raindrops and moments of silence, the space seems to echo with the accumulated emotions of unspoken arguments and misunderstandings that have built up over time. It is from experiences like these that we realize that communication breakdowns, differences in life values, or unhealthy attachment styles are the main causes of conflict and tension. Remember the story of Emma and Liam, two close friends who became bonded from the very first days they met at university, when they shared all their joys and sorrows together. Later, when Emma moved to a new city with completely different cultural values and lifestyle, a distance slowly began to grow between them. The calls became less frequent, and the spontaneous meetups were canceled, not only making them feel distant, but also revealing their differences in how they viewed life. This story serves as a vivid testimony that if we don't recognize and understand the root causes of changes in a relationship, we can easily fall into a cycle of misunderstandings and discord. In the journey of understanding the deep causes of tension, each of us needs to stop and ask ourselves, what has caused our relationship to become this way? Self-awareness is the key that opens the door to problem solving. Through this, we can objectively analyze factors such as poor communication, external pressures, or differences in life values, and from there, find the path to rebuild trust and mutual respect. Everyday stories like Emma and Liam's not only serve as concrete examples of communication difficulties, but also remind us that every relationship has its own weaknesses. However, what matters most is that when we recognize the deep causes of tension, we can begin to change the way we perceive and approach the issue. This is a journey that not only helps heal relationships, but also opens up opportunities for each of us to grow and gain a deeper understanding of ourselves. In Buddhist philosophy, every relationship is not merely a bond between two individuals, but also an expression of the deep connection between all existences in the universe. Imagine a dense forest where each leaf and each branch, though separate, together create a harmonious ecosystem. Similarly, each human relationship is formed by invisible threads of affection, understanding, and sharing. The Buddha taught that when we become too attached to others, in other words, when we place too many expectations and possessiveness on a relationship, this very attachment becomes the source of suffering. One of the stories often recounted in monastic circles is about a monk who once shared his journey of seeking freedom in love. He told the story of a young couple who always argued over trivial matters. Whenever conflict arose, they clung more tightly to the past, unable to let go. One day, the monk advised them to practice non-attachment, to love without demanding perfection, and to know when to let go. Over time, they gradually realized that true love is not about possession, but about freedom, gentleness, and compassion. These teachings are not just abstract philosophy, but also deeply practical, helping us gain a clearer awareness of life's constant changes. As Thich Nhat Hanh once said, "Love is not possession, but the freedom to give." This quote reminds us that, in order to build a healthy and lasting relationship, learning to let go of unrealistic attachments and expectations is essential. Through this, we are invited to explore how to love freely without being bound by negative emotions or desires for possession. When we understand that all things in life are always changing, we will also learn to accept, respect, and flow with the natural course of life. These values, nurtured by Buddhist philosophy, form a solid foundation that helps us build relationships that are not only pure, but also full of meaning and happiness. In the busy modern life, finding a moment of stillness amidst the daily noise is not only an art, but also a means to connect more deeply with ourselves and those around us. Mindfulness in relationships is the ability to pause, listen, and fully experience each present moment, a subtle approach that helps relieve tension and foster sincere understanding. Imagine a quiet afternoon in a small temple where the sound of bells echoes with each beat, reminding each person to live fully in the present. One day a student visited a famous monk, always feeling confused and anxious when communicating with others. The student asked, "Master, why do I keep falling into conflicts and misunderstandings when talking to others?" The monk gently replied, "Learn to listen to your own breath and the breath of others. When you practice mindfulness, you don't just hear the words, you also feel their soul. Only then can conflicts gradually fade away." This story reminds us that mindfulness is not just a practice, but a way of life, a lifestyle that helps us understand and cherish each moment of communication. Practicing mindfulness brings clear benefits in building healthy relationships. When we focus entirely on the present moment, hasty judgments and negative thoughts are gradually replaced with empathy and patience. Remember Thich Nhat Hanh's teaching: each breath you take is an opportunity to return to the present and truly feel alive. Quotes like this not only inspire us, but also provide a specific direction for those who wish to improve communication and reduce tension in relationships. Mindfulness does not stop at just listening. It also helps us observe without judgment, a necessary skill to understand our own emotions and the emotions of others. For example, when faced with an argument, instead of reacting immediately, you can pause to feel the overwhelming emotions inside. By doing so, you will have time to choose your words carefully and build a bridge of understanding between all parties. In this way, initial conflicts can be resolved more gently and effectively. Real-life examples from the experiences of many people have shown that mindfulness not only helps resolve conflicts, but also nurtures empathy and mutual understanding. Many people have shared that after they began practicing mindfulness, they noticed positive changes in how they communicate and handle emotions. As a result, their relationships with family, friends, and colleagues became warmer and more sincere. Thus, mindfulness becomes an effective tool, not only for reducing tension in relationships, but also for opening one's heart, helping each person find peace amid the fast-paced modern life. Start with the smallest steps, from listening to your own inner voice to feeling the heartbeat of a loved one. and you will be amazed at the positive changes it brings to your life and relationships. Compassion and empathy are the heart of every relationship, the source of strength that helps us overcome distances, misunderstandings, and even deep wounds. Imagine you are sitting by a calm river, where every cool ripple of water feels like a comforting embrace, soothing the wounds of the soul. Just like that flowing water, compassion flows through each of us, connecting and healing not only others but also ourselves. In a Buddhist story passed down through generations, there was a young monk who, after witnessing a farmer selflessly help a wounded bird without expecting anything in return, realized that compassion not only helps others overcome difficulties, but also brings inner peace and happiness to oneself. That story serves as a reminder that even small acts of compassion can make a great difference, opening the door to healing the soul. In fact, Thich Nhat Hanh once said, "Love is not just a feeling, but an action. When you open your heart, you will feel a deep connection with everyone around you." These teachings are not only philosophy, but also a guiding principle that helps us turn conflicts into opportunities to understand and appreciate each other more. When we learn to put ourselves in the shoes of others, not only feeling their pain and sorrow, but also understanding their joy and hopes, empathy will blossom, spread, and make relationships more complete. Another vivid example from Buddhist tradition is the story of a monk who lived in poverty, but always knew how to share everything he had with those around him. Although his material circumstances were not abundant, with sincere compassion, he inspired the entire community, turning temporary relationships into lasting bonds based on understanding and sharing. Through this, we learn that compassion is not only a noble virtue, but also a magical remedy that heals the wounds of the soul. Thanks to such examples and meaningful stories, we come to realize that nurturing compassion and empathy is not only a way to ease conflicts, but also the key to opening the door to a fulfilling life, full of love and peace. Each time we give a little compassion, we are also accumulating happiness for ourselves and for the community around us. In modern life, amidst the pressures of work and ever-changing relationships, self-care and setting healthy boundaries have become essential life skills. As Buddhist teachings emphasize, taking care of yourself is the way to truly love others. This statement not only affirms the value of self-care, but also highlights the importance of establishing boundaries in each relationship to maintain inner peace and mental health. Imagine a quiet morning in the temple when the sound of bells rings out, serving as a reminder for each person to take some time for themselves. There is a traditional story about a young monk who always felt conflicted by his responsibilities to his family and community. After many years of constantly sacrificing himself for others, the monk realized that without taking care of his inner self and setting healthy boundaries, his soul would gradually become weary and lose its natural peace. From then on, he began to spend time meditating, listening to his own heart, and slowly rediscovered balance in his life. Through this story, we understand that self-care is not selfishness, but a foundation that allows us to give love and care in a complete way. Not only in Buddhist stories, but real-life examples also show that when each person values and protects themselves, they become stronger in facing challenges and building healthy relationships based on mutual respect. Setting boundaries not only helps us avoid unnecessary harm, but also creates space to nurture self-love, leading to a fulfilling and meaningful life. Let us learn to listen to ourselves, seek moments of peace through meditation, exercise, or simply enjoying quiet moments in nature. For when the soul is nurtured, every relationship becomes warmer and stronger. In the journey of life, each relationship is a rich painting with all the colors of joy, sorrow, challenges, and hope. When we dare to see through the cracks and identify the roots of tension, we realize that perfection is not the destination, but rather the ongoing process of learning, forgiving, and growing. Through the light of Buddhist teachings, we are reminded that only when we let go of unnecessary attachments, live mindfully, and cultivate compassion, can we truly open our hearts, love, and empathize deeply with ourselves and those around us. Remember that self-care and setting healthy boundaries are not just about protecting ourselves, but also about spreading peace and happiness to the community. Every step we take, no matter how small, contributes to creating a world filled with love and understanding, where sincerity and respect are always prioritized. Therefore, continue your journey with the belief that through sincere efforts and unconditional love, we can not only transform our own lives, but also help build a compassionate community where every heart can find the light of tranquility and peace.